Welcome back to another edition of Miami Cycling. Today we're going to talk about an incident that happened in the race. We're not going to cover the race itself. And just some different points of view that we have about the state of lower level cycling in Miami. I spoke with Stephen Lujack, I hope I pronounced that right today, about his point of view of developing juniors and the lower levels of racing. And he's of the thought that Category 3 and 4 should race together because they're more experienced and a little bit stronger, and some of the guys that are in Cat 4 right now are ready to go to Cat 3 and probably even have Category 2 strength and not necessarily the skill yet to race in those levels. And there's some guys in 3 that probably shouldn't be racing with the P1s and 2s. On the other side of that, since Cat 5 is a novice category, we have juniors that are pretty young that end up unfortunately being tangled up in some of these crashes that happen. This crash today was not any of their faults, but unfortunately they ended up being part of the casualties of war, I guess. And here you can see this is my teammate Johnny. He loses concentration just for a split second, and he touches the wheel in front of him and goes down and takes out half the peloton behind him. Obviously, he didn't do it on purpose, and that's part of bike racing. These things happen, but things happen, and there are casualties that are associated with that in the back. And in this case, unfortunately, there was a lot of junior riders that ended up going down. And, for me, I weigh 200 pounds, and I don't want to run into the 13, 14, 15-year-old that's half my weight and hurt them, whether it's their fault or not. And like I said, this crash was not their fault. It was unfortunately Johnny's fault. It was an accident. These things happen. It's bike racing. But you can see a junior on the right going down. There's a junior on the left about ready to go down. And everybody else all around is going down. So just want to make clear that it wasn't the junior's fault, but they also just end up getting mixed up in this. And I want to thank Chin Cycling for sending his footage. He got a way better view of what happened in this crash. And here's a rear view cam from behind my bike. As you can see, there's a couple more juniors behind me that end up getting tangled in the mess. I was lucky enough to not end up in this crash. I was able to stop in time, and that's good because I'm just recovering from a concussion from getting into a training crash 2 weeks ago. So I think maybe there could be a solution here, and I think this solution is pretty easy to do. Category 5 and juniors should race together and be scored separately. If they want to make the race a little bit shorter for the juniors, they just bring lap cards out for them a little bit earlier than the 5s. But that way, Cat 5, which is novice, they'll be racing with other novices, which are juniors. And then Cat 3 and Cat 4 can race together because they're a little bit closer to the same level of experience. And it's not a novice race anymore, and people understand that there could be some bumping and some fighting for wheels going on that might not necessarily happen in Category 5 or in junior racing. So I would like the race organizers locally to consider maybe just changing the categories of the races for 2024 and making it just a little bit better and a little bit more equitable for everybody involved. It's not fair for the top racers in Cat 4 that should probably be in Cat 3 to race against juniors, and it's not fair to the juniors to race against those people, and it's not fair for them to be tangled up in a crash against full-grown adults. So I'm pleading with the race organizers for next season to maybe reconsider the categories and make sure that it's equitable for everybody. And then this guy who's getting all worked up, yelling at everybody, telling everybody it's a bike race. Like, yes, it is a bike race, and crashes happen. Like, I don't think anybody should be angry about an accident that happened. It was just a touch of wheels, and people crashed. So you shouldn't be standing there yelling at everybody and pointing fingers and saying it's a bike race. Like, it is a bike race. You're right. Like, bike races have crashes, and I would say probably more often than not. I mean, watch the Pro Peloton in La Vuelta or Paris-Roubaix, Tour de France, those guys crash almost every single race, and it's usually in the neutralized zone where they touch the wheels. So the pros can do it. People in Category 4 can do it. People in Category 5 can do it. The juniors can do it. Like, crashes happen. So how can we improve our races? As I said earlier, making it a Category 4 and 3 race instead of a novice and Category 4 race. Category 5 is gone. It's no longer called Category 5. It's called novice. And I don't think it's a novice race anymore when you're putting Category 4 in with the novices. And I think the people that are a novice right now, there's a lot of them that should be upgrading and not racing on one-day licenses. So if you're still registering on one-day licenses and you've been racing all season and you've even made podiums, you better be getting your year-long license and moving up and moving through the categories, because the sandbagging is just as bad as racing in a category you don't belong in up above you. So look at your results and look at how many points you have. This is the table right here. You have to track your own results, and you have to go to USA Cycling to make the upgrade. And on the left, you can voluntarily upgrade out of novice whenever you want, from category to Category 4 to Category 3. It's 20 pack finishes in the last 36 months, or it's a mandatory upgrade if you've gotten 30 points in 12 months, or if you've gotten 3 wins in a field with 21 starters or more. So I know a bunch of you, or not a bunch of you, but there's a couple of you that if you'd moved up to Category 4 when you should have, you should already be in Category 3 right now. So just take a look at the points table and add up your points. The season's almost over. Start thinking about upgrading if you're ready, because you should be facing better, stronger competition than you are right now. And just putting this in here for anybody who's in Category 3 and interested in moving up to Category 2 or Category 1, on the left of this graphic, it tells you how to do that. But I also want to point out that there's approved clinics, and Steve, who I spoke about earlier, he hosted a very good clinic of 5 sessions this year, and it gave you up to 5 points for your move from either 5 to 4 or novice to 4. And I'm going to stop calling it Cat 5. It's novice to 4, or Category 4 to Category 3. But you learn some racing skills that you don't just get by riding straight line group rides that we have here in Florida. Teaching you how to bump, teaching you how to protect your front wheel, teaching you how to corner properly, hold your line in a bunch while cornering, and things like that. I think a lot of people kind of rolled their eyes at the start line at Piccolo this year and didn't do it. And I think you'd be better off if you were just take the time to get these upgrade points for basically free, just for showing up and checking it out. So when Steve has his next clinic next year, I think before the season starts, even Category 4 riders should go check it out and just sharpen their skills up again before the season starts. And here's some more information about what the categories are for race directors. You know, they can combine Category 5/novice into 4, but I don't think they have that in mind for combining junior fields into that. I really think it's best for all if they put novice and juniors together, because it'll help the juniors gain experience and at faster paces than they're used to, but it's also not as hectic as a 100-rider field throwing elbows together at El Hueco and just complete chaos. It's going to be safer for the juniors. They're going to learn a lot more that way. And the people that are actually novice racers are going to learn more that way, racing against people that are actually a little bit closer to their experience level, their skill level, and strength. Anyway, these are my thoughts on it. Sorry for the 10-minute diatribe. I want to thank Breaking the Cycle for putting on such a great race series, and I want to say good job to all the juniors that showed up over the last few races. You guys are all killing it. I don't think anybody's mad at you guys for racing. I think it's a little bit more on the responsibility of the adults, of all of us that are helping out with organizing these races or racing together, to look out for you guys. I think it's on us to look out for you and not for you to look out for yourselves. So I don't want you kids or the parents of the kids or anybody from Breaking the Cycle to take this as a knock at them. I think you guys are all doing fantastic and a lot of bright futures in cycling with some of the kids I've seen out there, and I really, really want to encourage them to keep after it. And I want to thank them for racing, and I want to thank Breaking the Cycle for giving us this great series. Thanks again, guys.